So the 2021 NBA offseason is pretty much finished. All the significant free agents have been signed, and obviously, like every year, there's winners and losers of free agency. In my opinion, the most notable winners are the Los Angeles Lakers, Chicago Bulls, and the New York Knicks, along with some other teams that were winners. But when we're discussing the biggest losers, I don't think any team is as big of a loser as the Portland Trailblazers are this offseason. So in today's video, I'll just be discussing the Portland Trailblazers offseason and giving some reasons as to why I think they had the worst one in the NBA. Before we get into the video, I ask you to drop a like on this video as it does help my channel grow. Subscribe to my channel if you want daily NBA content as I post literally every single day. Also, if you want to reach my goal of 1,500 subscribers, drop a comment on this video as I do respond to all of my comments, and play that intro. First reason the Portland Trailblazers are the biggest losers of this year's offseason is due to the fact that they literally did not improve their team at all. And you could low-key even argue that they got worse, which is definitely not something they would want to do since they came off of a very disappointing loss to the Denver Nuggets, who didn't even have their second best player in Jamal Murray, whereas Portland was fully healthy. To name the players that the Blazers lost this offseason, they lost Zach Collins to the Spurs, who was a guy who I think could be a quality big man in the NBA. He just has to stay healthy. They also lost Carmelo Anthony, who was a guy who could space the floor, hit some big shots, and he had veteran leadership and things like that. They also lost Enes Kanter, who's a guy who doesn't play much, at least in the postseason. But in the regular season, he's pretty solid as a backup center. And to talk about the guys who they added Cody Zeller, who at best is an average backup center, and that's being too nice maybe. They also got like Tony Snell, who's actually a really good three-point shooter, but I doubt he's going to improve their team significantly at all. This is absolutely terrible. Last year, the Blazers looked like they had their most talented team ever since LaMarcus Aldridge left. They had Lillard, they had McCollum, Carmelo Anthony, Gary Trent broke out, Yusuf Nurkic was returning healthy after being dominant in the bubble. They also got Robert Covington, who was a really good defender. Also had Derrick Jones Jr. The Blazers were looking really nice, and they had a really solid seed. They had a solid season. I think they had like the 5th seed in the conference, but then when they lost to the Denver Nuggets without Jamal Murray, that was just a sign that changes needed to come. And literally no changes have come at all during this offseason. You could easily argue this team is exactly the same. That simply is just sad. The third reason the Portland Trailblazers are the biggest losers of this offseason is due to the fact that they literally did not improve their team at all, but now they're also dealing with rumblings of Damian Lillard wanting to potentially get out of Portland. Because in the past, we've always said things like, oh, Dame should get out of Portland because he doesn't have enough help and things like that, but he never addressed those rumors or agreed with them at all or showed any signs that he would leave Portland. But during the summer, we saw him during like Team USA interviews and stuff discuss his future with the team, and he said he wants to be on a championship level team. And then he said if the Blazers didn't make any moves, and the fact that the Blazers did absolutely nothing shows. Oh yeah, didn't he also say that he wanted the Blazers to have a big offseason or something like that? And they definitely didn't have that. They might have had a big disaster. But to get to the point, the fact that the Blazers literally did nothing this offseason and shows that they're going to be like an average middle pack team, I think it makes it pretty obvious that Dame is going to leave, and that itself is just a huge L because they're going to be losing a top 10 player in the league really soon, their second best player in franchise history. To be honest, I don't think Lillard's going to get traded before the season starts, because I think if he was going to get started before the season started, he already would have gotten traded. But I think during the middle of next year, when the Blazers are proven to be just the same exact team and they don't look like legit title contenders, I think that's when Dame might request a trade. And being in that situation is definitely just not an L. It's not a W at all. It's pretty trash, but it's their fault for being so trash this offseason. The third reason the Portland Trailblazers are the biggest losers of the 2021 NBA offseason due to the fact that the Blazers did not only just stay stagnant and do anything to do nothing to improve their team. All of the teams that they were competing with, like in their playoff speedings and things like that, definitely improved more than they did, or at least they like stay content, but they were to get better teams, so it didn't even matter. Teams like the Golden State Warriors are going to be getting Klay Thompson back next season, also getting to improve James Wiseman and Jordan Poole, and they added some rookies who look like they can be good straight out the gate. So I think the Warriors will be better than the Blazers next year. They definitely improved enough to surpass them. The Denver Nuggets were already better than Portland. They didn't really like make any crazy like adjustments or anything like that. They're still better than Portland because they kept all their like really important guys. Clippers were already better than the Blazers, but they made some good free agent signings. They got Eric Bledsoe. I know a lot of people are roasting that, but Bledsoe has proven he can be a really good regular season player, and I think that's what they need without Kawhi Leonard. To be honest, even without Kawhi, I think the Clippers are going to be better than the Blazers. Obviously, the Lakers are going to be better than the Blazers, but the Lakers, in my opinion, at least significantly improved their roster. So, like, that's not even a discussion. Utah Jazz were pretty good this offseason. They added guys like Rudy Gay, Eric Pascal, and Hassan Whiteside. I definitely think they were already better than Portland, but now they improved their team a little bit more, so they're definitely better. Phoenix Suns were already better than the Blazers. Obviously, they kept all their significant guys. This is just a huge L. The Blazers literally got no one, and the guys who they're competing with at least like improved a little bit or stayed the same. Like, it's starting to look like the Blazers not even make the playoffs next season. Not even joking. Honestly, I was hoping the Blazers could do more, but simply they didn't, and they're taking the consequences for it now. The fourth and final reason the Portland Trailblazers are losers of this year's offseason is due to the fact that, at least in my opinion, the Blazers had an opportunity to improve their team, but it doesn't seem like they're going to take it, and they didn't take it like for all these months. Opportunity I'm talking about is them trading CJ McCollum. Please don't get it twisted. CJ McCollum can really hoop, and he's a really good player. But all due respect, him and Dame is not good enough to work and like be a legit title contender just because of their struggles on the defensive side of the floor. And the Blazers haven't really been providing great defenders around them at all. So I think it's clear they need to get a second star who can actually play good on the defensive side of the ball. Because CJ is a really good player. He's an all-star caliber player, but he's someone who can be easily traded because he can play great off the ball. He's an elite three-point shooter, can handle the ball. I honestly think they should have tried to trade him for Ben Simmons if they didn't. And I know that's a risk, but at least it's trying something different. We all know Ben Simmons is like a guy with a lot of questions around his name with his jump shot, his lack of aggressiveness, all that stuff. Trust me, I genuinely get it, but who knows, maybe Ben Simmons will get his confidence back on the Blazers and it'll reach his full potential. And at least Simmons is one of the best defenders in the whole NBA, so maybe he could transfer him their whole defense, because the Blazers were literally the second worst defense in the league last year. And I feel like a duo of Lillard and Simmons could work just as well as a duo of CJ McCollum and Ben Simmons. And I honestly think if the Sixers would allow them, I definitely think they should make that move, because just keeping CJ is not progressing forward at all. And maybe a duo of CJ and Dame is better than a duo of Simmons and Dame. Who knows? But at least they're trying something different, man. Just running it back, didn't some super famous guy say, the most stupid thing you can do is trying the same thing and expecting a different result? That's exactly what the Blazers are doing. I think they should have pulled the trigger and maybe try and trade for Ben Simmons if the 76ers weren't asking for a crazy amount. And that's why I think they're losers, to be honest. To conclude the video, the Blazers definitely took a huge L this offseason. Honestly, I feel really bad for Damian Lillard. I really want him to leave. Being loyal doesn't really get you anywhere, and I feel like this team has reached their peak. They're not going to get any better. They're not going any further. You guys, like the Blazers fans, should honestly respect his decision if he chooses to leave. He's given so much for that city, but I think it's time for him to leave. I think the best fit for him right now might be the New Orleans Pelicans low-key, as long as they don't have to give up Brandon Ingram. Anyways, guys, that's it for the video. Let me know whether or not you think the Blazers are the biggest losers of the offseason. Drop a like on this video, as it does help my channel grow. Subscribe to my channel if you want NBA content like this, as I post literally every single day. Also, drop a comment on this video, because I respond to all of my comments. And I'm out.